They say that home is where the heart is, but it's also a place for creativity, design, decor, renovation, entertaining, and a cozy spot for showcasing our personalities to those we invite inside. If you love home decor shows but wish they had a local point of view, then don't go anywhere. I'm Casey Savage, and this is The Nest, your destination for all things home, decor, and lifestyle with a neighborhood feel. So cozy up, get comfy, because today we've got the experts, the certified pros, and all the tips, tricks, picks, and advice you need to create your best nest. So maybe you're pretty confident when it comes to decorating your home, right? You've got the furniture, the rugs, the side table, everything's looking good. But don't you ever get that panicky sense that you don't know what to put up on the walls? Maybe it's that great trip you had to Florida and you set it up in a frame and you think, I don't know about this. And maybe you go shopping for art, as I've done before, and you think, $600 for something that really doesn't have much meaning. There has to be a more affordable way. Of course, we've got the pro here with us to give us all the tips and tricks when it comes to affordable art options. Sarah Hepburn Smith is here of Sarah Hepburn Design. I love that you always have a really down-to-earth approach when it comes to home design and decor. So you're not here to tell us to go to a really high-end art gallery and shell out $50,000 on an original piece of art.
No, I mean, art is, what's interesting about art is that it's such a personal thing. And I'm a strong believer that anything you put up on your wall should speak to you and have meaning to you. It could be a happy flower, it could be a picture of a family vacation, or it could, be a place that you've gone, or just something every day in life.
But there are ways to do it right, and there are ways where you can do it wrong. So we're not talking about, taking a bunch of thumbtacks and putting together a collage of family pics. There's a method to this.
Yes, I mean, you can, and your teen might like to do that on a bulletin board in their room where they print out some of their Insta pics and poke them up on their bulletin
board is the key word.
For sure.
Not the wall.
Smacked up on the wall. Yes.
Exactly. Okay, so what do you have for us here? Because I looked at this and the first thing I said right out of the gates, and it's just so beautiful, is, did you actually take this photo?
So I did, and this is actually a photo I just took on my phone and had blown up onto a canvas.
So pretty.
So you can see how it's it's a gallery wrapped canvas.
Yep.
And had it done through a company called Poster Jack, which is in Toronto. And so relatively local and super affordable. And they also have sales all the time. So that's printing your own photos on a gallery wrapped canvas, or having them mounted or framed through.
So I'm guessing you need to use a really high-end professional camera.
Not necessarily.
Really?
So pretty much anyone with like an iPhone 6 and above.
Oh, so that excludes me with my 5.
Yeah, you might need to upgrade your phone, Casey.
Not really with the times so much.
And the nice part is, as you're uploading the photo, it'll tell you if it's not a good enough quality for the size that you're looking.
The resolution is not good enough.
It
looks fantastic. Okay, so this is a really good idea, and I love that this is a Canadian company as well.
It is a Canadian company, yep. And another great source for affordable art is Etsy.ca, which there's the larger Etsy.com, but there you can look, and if you you're looking for your kids, you're redoing your kid's bedroom, for example, and they're hockey players, you can search hockey art, and you can get the gamut from your vintage Maple Leafs sweater to a more contemporary hockey stick or whatever. So there's a whole range of options that you can either order just the print, you can order it framed, or you can actually download the image.
And that's nice too, because at least you're actively seeking what you're looking for instead of going into a store and just kind of picking and choosing from what they've got.
Absolutely.
So that's a little bit more intentional. Okay, what else do you have?
So what else do I have? So another thing that we all seem to have tons of is kids' school art.
Yes.
And
so much of it.
Other than filing it under G for garbage, which is where some of my stuff goes.
I am appalled that you would even recommend
What
that.
you can do is actually,
No, I'm just saying my kids sadly have opened the trash and found their art in there before when I thought they wouldn't find it. It's like that, oops, sorry. Yeah. So anyway, you frame it up.
That's where you need to be strategic about when you do it.
So
what I've done is I've actually framed it using a series of the same frames, which is key.
Same frame.
Same frame, because then that provides you with your cohesiveness and your unified look. And the nice part about it is you can swap it out as they change, as they evolve, as they grow, and just keep a small corner of your house dedicated to kids' art.
So nice. Okay, this is the better parent way to go, by the way. Instead of, you know, putting it in the recycling bin on recycle day and they stand there and see it at the bus stop. Okay, moving on.
Moving on. Another affordable source for art is taking, now this is from a photography book that I had, and I actually just cut out several pages of it. So there's 8 of these pieces in my own home.
Oh, wow.
And then I frame them again in these silver frames
Oh my gosh,
to give it a
such a good
unified
idea.
look. And she's an abstract artist, but some people might like nature photos, or if you want to do an animal theme, for example.
Wow.
You can choose different, you know, bears or whatever your theme might
That's really
be
nice
on that front.
I love the frame. Okay, and then this
another one is check out your local consignment shops, because there's amazing original art that will end up already framed for you in consignment stores. And different pieces speak to different people. I happen to sort of like the fishing scene in this particular one, but you never know what you might come across.
Okay, well, here's the thing as well when it comes to original art is you always get that sense that maybe you're that one person that stumbled upon a Picasso that no one knew about. So,
Absolutely.
Sarah, thank you so much. Coming up after the break, we're going to talk in-floor heating systems with Dave Clayton from Allaire Homes. So stay with us. We'll be right back. Imagine a home where instead of running around yelling at the family for that pair of slippers you can't find because your feet are freezing, imagine a home where the floors are always toasty warm. And we're not just talking about the bathroom. In-floor heating is actually becoming the norm for new custom homes and standard build homes because it's no longer a fringe or a frill. It's something that is something that we expect to see throughout the home all the time. Here to give us all the deets, that's short for details, Dave, in case you didn't know that.
Got it.
On in-floor heating is Dave Clayton of Allaire Homes, Aurora, Newmarket. So good to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Nice to see your face instead of David's, which we've become so accustomed to
Right.
on the shows. So you're here to tell us about something that I personally thought was exclusively reserved for lifestyles of the rich and famous. But you're saying this is totally standard now in homes.
Yeah, in-floor heating used to be considered kind of a luxury item. Now we've seen with the advancements in the products, the affordability now, we can kind of meet any budget, any application.
And not just for the bathroom or for tiled floors. Can this go with hardwood as well?
It can go pretty much anywhere. There's in-floor heating applications for, of course, tile and hardwood, your laminate floors, composite, even carpet. Carpeting.
Okay, so I just picture electrical in-floor heat, carpet, fire hazard.
Sure.
You're going to tell me that that's not the case.
So what a lot of people think of with in-floor heat, in your bathroom you would think of an electric system. You'd have an underlayment where we're running electric cables through the floor.
Okay, so this is for electric.
Yeah, so your electric cables would run through a grid such as that. The electricity would heat the floor and then that would radiate into the air. Other systems now where we're using hydronics, so we're using water to heat those cables, or even air in some cases.
Okay, so this is the one where we're talking about water. Which one, you know, when we talk about what percentage of homes would typically use what, how often are we seeing water versus electric?
For new builds now, it's so easy to install water prior to flooring going down, so it's less of a retrofit, more of a new construction type of thing. Of course, the option's always there.
Okay, so standard flooring goes right on top of this. All the electric coils fit within, and then this one, the water flows through these little tubes. And I'm thinking, you know, in terms of electrical cost to your bill, what are we looking at? Are these expensive? I mean, here we're looking at the water system fitted in a basement, how expensive would this be to operate?
Right, so you always have to balance both. So with hydronic heating, a system such as that, there is a rather substantial upfront investment to put the system in place. Of course, you're running on natural gas or propane, so your operating costs are much lower than they are for electricity. So you're kind of looking at a short-term versus long-term cost.
And so what rooms are you seeing in the custom home world where people are saying, besides bathrooms, this is an absolute must, I need to have warm, toasty floors in my...
Kitchens. Kitchens is a place, hard floors, typically tile, barefoot in the kitchen, you'll have to have the warm, toasty feet. But of course now with some of the hydronic systems, we're seeing people heat their entire home.
Yeah, so, and is this true that you can actually warm your home using the in-floor heating?
That's right. Hydronic heat's now a very popular option for your primary heat source. So we're getting rid of the forced air.
That would be your primary heat source?
That's right. We're getting rid of the forced air furnace. We're using just a hydronic boiler. That's used to heat all of the floors throughout the home. That air just radiates up. And then your entire home's heated that way.
Oh my gosh, that's unbelievable. And then what about in the summer when you're super hot? What do? You just turn that whole system off?
Yeah, we can turn it off, tone it down. Of course, we're not cooling the home this way, so we're looking at supplementary ways to manage cooling of the home, ductless systems and mini splits that you would see in a lot of hotels.
That's unbelievable. Okay, so in terms of the high end, let's talk, fantasy, dreaming, mega mansions, the stuff you guys get to do with some of your custom homes. Where are some of the unconventional places that people are using in-floor heating that's, a little more luxury, for example?
So that would be something like your basement floor, your garage floor. We can actually embed hydronic lines right into the concrete. People are putting them in driveways now. So in fact,
I've seen that.
So snow comes down on the driveway, doesn't have a chance to accumulate. Forget about shoveling the snow.
Oh my gosh, can you imagine a world where you no longer have to shovel, where your snow just melts away like your worries? Just dissolving on. I'm getting carried away, dreaming about a driveway with no snow.
It's pretty great, but of course that's a luxury item, and there's a price tag associated with that.
I can imagine. Yeah. But basically anything is possible, and gone are the days where this is exclusively reserved for just your bathroom. Now, could this be a do-it-yourself or not at all?
It can be. There's actually a lot of flooring suppliers that will sell do-it-yourself kits. You're looking at more something like this, where
the electric one.
Yeah, the electric, where it's a fairly simple installation, and we're putting it right below tile or a hardwood.
So this goes on top of the subfloor. You get it all worked out. So all of the electrical cables, and you have to run that yourself, I'm guessing, when you're doing this project.
Yep, in a do-it-yourself application, yeah. Yeah.
Anything do-it-yourself personally terrifies me, but that's what keeps people like you in business.
Right.
Thank you so much. Stick around. We need you and your expertise at the end of the show. But coming up in just a few, Jacqueline Kovacs, editor of York Life magazine. She is this week's Love It list, so stay with us. Probably one of the most exciting segments is the Love It list, where Jacqueline Kovacs, editor of York Life magazine, does all of the shopping. She drives around town, she looks for the hottest home stores, and then brings back a bounty of goods to show off. And people often say the colder temperatures, we start to nest, we start to entertain a bit more, but I think entertaining is a year-round it's year-round, it's perennial, but for so many people it's intimidating. How do you set a gorgeous table? Because we eat with our eyes first, right?
That's right.
So bringing out the paper plates.
Well, there's a time and a place for that.
I like paper plates during barbecue season.
Absolutely.
But you've brought us some really beautiful pieces from a store that I adore, Saturday Afternoon.
It's a fantastic store.
It's
right there
Monday,
on Yonge Street in
it's
Aurora.
Tuesday, it's Wednesday, it's Thursday. I think they're closed Sunday.
They may be.
It's not just Saturdays. But what have you brought us?
Well, just a sampling of the gorgeous items that they have on sale to make your table just a little bit better. And you can go elegant and you can go casual. And I've got a few options here. These dishes have a kind of an organic feeling to them. They're unique. They're not perfectly round, and they're gorgeous. They're just each like a little piece of art.
We were figuring out what to call these: asymmetric, organic, artisanal.
Yeah, and I mean, you've got a choice. You've got the various plates. If you don't think you'll ever need a plate that big, you can buy them individually. They're all very affordable.
Okay, and here's the best part, I think, as we look at the gorgeous display. I want to tilt these up for you to see how pretty these are. Look at the colors. These look like you went to, the local Potters Guild, and you said, "Can I have your absolute finest?" Except I'm looking at the price point on this, $5 for this little. We actually, I bought 8 of these bowls from Saturday Afternoons.
Oh.
We were doing something as sophisticated as a burger slider bar, and I wanted to put my toppings in all of these great little bowls. But what a gorgeous look for such an affordable price.
Absolutely.
So you don't feel like you're bound to that, china that you maybe registered for.
Exactly, and depending on the
During
kind
your
of meal
wedding.
you're serving, you can add a little touch of gold and texture.
Is this a placemat?
This is a placemat, and I'm just showing a couple of options here. So you can give it just that little glitter. Can you
So
imagine
let's
in
see how
the
it
evening a
looks.
soiree,
my
and you're having some
gosh.
people over, and your table is set with 6 of these.
So pretty.
It's just. It's really a rich, beautiful look.
And then you
it's
have
so
something
easy.
more
And then,
casual.
for
Let
something
me
a little more
scoop this
casual,
out of the
rustic,
way.
and it's still lovely, is this gorgeous placemat. And it's that
gosh.
same kind of rich sage color, and it's got the texture you want, but it's wash and wear. It can be for every
So-
day, or it can be for just a more casual dinner with friends.
Can I suggest something really way out there? Can you lift this up for one
Absolutely.
sec? Work with me here, Jackie. I think,
Do my best.
what if we layered a casual, sparkly glam, our beautiful oblong / egg-shaped plates right on top? I don't know. I'm getting crazy here. But we also have,
Well, you got to finish it off,
we
right?
have to finish it off on the table. So
Yes.
here we've got, let's just say this is my place setting. And then what do we have between the table?
You need your table center, and you can be a little more creative, not just the usual flowers or candles. You can put a little piece of art in there. And this is a very affordable, and it's got the
Does
metals
this
that
open?
are so hot
it looks
right
like
now.
it opens. No? Is it stuck together? It looks like you
I-
could literally pop
it does
open.
look like you could
This
open
is
it.
like a big metal orb. So what would you put in the center of this?
Well, you could put a candle. You could put an individual little
Some greenery,
greenery,
maybe?
a little tiny plant. You could, or you could just leave it as is, as this just item of interest in the middle of your beautiful table.
And best of all, you can see through it. So when it's that, you don't have that awkward.
That's right too.
Okay, well, we are going to be seeing a lot more of Jackie in just a sec because we are going to be talking to our panel of pros coming up after the break. It's Ask a Designer right after this. Our Facebook page is The Nest with Casey Savage, and that's where you can pose your question to the pros. This week's question comes from Amy in Aurora, who is mid-reno. So this is happening, people. She needs tips, and she needs them now. So we've got our panel of pros with us, Sarah Hepburn Design. Sometimes I like to add the Smith in there.
It's flexible.
I love that. It's fluid.
Yeah.
Just going with the flow. We have Dave Clayton of Allaire Homes Aurora Newmarket and editor of York Life magazine, Jacqueline Kovacs, always looking very sophisticated and here to give us all of the tips. So let's take a look at Amy's space and let's discuss and see what tips and helpful ideas we have for her. So she has a brand new kitchen renovation. All of the cabinetry has been replaced. Gone is the kitchen table, in is a kitchen island, but everything else is a blank space, a blank canvas, so to speak, in the kitchen. There's no color scheme. There are no pendant lights over that kitchen island. She doesn't even know if she wants to keep the posts on the island. Those can go, whether or not you like them. Can't wait to hear from you guys. And paint color is going to be an Edgecombe gray, she says. And I'm excited to mention this to Sarah because we've done episodes before of The Nest where Sarah says, paint color is last. Don't get hung up on a paint color, that is dead last. So forget the paint color because she already has chosen the paint color. What would you recommend looking at that space when you walk in, you're a designer, and you get all excited anything's possible. What are you thinking for Amy?
Well, given that, as you've said, this is a space where it's replaced their kitchen table where where they're going to be eating, they need to have functional lighting over the space. And there's a few ways that they can achieve that. So they can do a series of 3 glass globe pendants. So that way you still have sight lines from the kitchen through to the rest of the home.
Spread out or in a cluster?
Spread out
Okay.
throughout the island. So then you would have their glass, and so they have that interesting feature, and then any of the finishing details can tie into the cabinet hardware that's in the rest of the kitchen.
What's the rule of thumb for lighting height-wise when you have an island and you're also not just sitting at that table, but you're standing up and looking through to other rooms?
Yeah, so because it's hanging over the island, you don't have to worry about anybody bonking their heads as they walk underneath it. However, you do want to keep an open sight line as you're looking at it. So the typical rule of thumb is about 30 or so inches from the tabletop to the bottom of the fixture.
Okay.
Depending on the type of fixture that you choose, that can shift a little bit. But if you don't want to go with the 3, you can go with a longer linear one as well too. And there's a lot of fun ones out there that have sort of abstract arms that go off in different directions, but that would emphasize the length of the island.
I'm seeing a lot of those now. It almost looks like some sort of a space station.
Yeah.
It's almost, do you guys see those now? Those lights everywhere?
Yeah.
They seem too futuristic for my personal taste, but are you doing a lot of those?
I love them because they do add a bit of an edge to an otherwise super traditional space.
I'm just not edgy. It's just the truth.
You can be, Casey.
I can be. With the right lighting, I can step it up.
Yeah.
Okay, Dave, what do you think when you see a space like that?
I would look at functionality of the space as well. So when we're looking at a finished space, obviously there's limitations as to what we can do with lighting, switching, and that sort of thing. Mid-renovation, possibilities are endless because we have that flexibility. We're still going to be doing some drywall work. As far as design of the lights themselves, I'd defer to the designers. They're the experts in that field. So.
Yeah. And then, Jackie, when you see a space like that, and I know you get to do all of the fun shopping for us here at the Nest and checking out all the different stores and accessories, what are you thinking when you see that blank canvas in there?
Well, I think there's an opportunity to throw in a pop of color with your seating. You could get some really fun stools in different colors or those high chairs. I mean, are they crazy about red or maybe a teal color? And how do you cushion those things? And that's a very easy way to swap in some color. Also, just as a side note, have they thought about getting rid of the sliding glass doors and going with a French door to kind of make the space just that much more elegant? And I'm crazy about dimmer switches.
Dimmers, oh yeah, absolutely a must. Do you do dimmers, Dave, in your custom homes? Do people have to ask anymore, or is that standard?
It's pretty standard in a lot of applications, specifically kitchens, where we're kind of mixing natural light with artificial light. You want to be able to balance that appropriately. So dimmer switches, definitely a must in kitchens.
I always find as well as I age that with each year I like to just lower the setting on the lighting in general around the house. You just feel more confident about yourself as well. Do you guys notice that?
I make it brighter so I can see.
Why do you think I never have people over during daytime hours? I only entertain after sunset. It's like, what do you think about so many people going all white in kitchens because they don't want to make a mistake color-wise? How do you feel? Like, where can you inject some color into a room?
I mean, white kitchens are something that we've seen for a long time, and there's a reason why we've seen it. It's a classic color. It's one that won't go out of style. It's one that you're not going to look at 2 years from now and say, oh wait, that kitchen was done in 2010.
Yeah.
So it's a real classic finish, and you can't go wrong with it. What we are seeing though is islands that might be different colors. There are some mix of two-tone cabinetry that's going in. But if you are the type of person that doesn't like to take a lot of risks with your decorating, you can't go wrong with white millwork in your kitchen.
And where would you add some color that if you change your mind a year from now, it's not going to be a huge expense?
Yeah, so I would inject that just like Jacqueline said earlier in terms of your furnishings. So your stools, for example, the wall color, bring it in with art, drapery over those sliders that are around on the other side of the island. You can mix and match, color even in your pendant lighting if you want to mix that up that way.
And for those doors, drapery that's just sometimes panels that don't actually close, or are you a big fan of functional drapery that actually serves a purpose other than aesthetics?
It's hard to say depending on the space. Some people really want that for privacy. So in, particularly in the winter months when the days are super short and your neighbors can see right into your house, it's nice to be able to draw your curtains so you're not wandering around in your pajamas.
So pajamas can be optional.
Pajamas
Good
can be
to know.
optional, yeah.
Okay, well, thank you guys so much. Always great to have our panel of pros. And I hope you learned something new today. Maybe you feel inspired to head on over to Saturday afternoons and pick up on some great accessories. Or maybe it's a new home improvement. Maybe you'll be calling up Allaire Homes for that in-floor heating. Don't forget to check out our Facebook page, The Nest with Casey Savage, and put your questions up on there, your picks, your hot finds. We love sharing. You can also reach out directly to our pros on that page as well. Okay, we will see you again next time. Thanks for tuning in to The Nest.